The mysterious image at the end of the world. In the winter of 2021, a disturbing image appeared anonymously on /x/4chan's infamous conspiracy forum. The post contained nothing but a GPS coordinate and a blurry, almost surreal image of a massive figure standing on the Antarctic ice. No caption, no explanation, just the image, cold, distorted, nearly unbelievable. It appeared to show a towering humanoid shape, shrouded in fog, near the remote Fuji Dome area. Within 24 hours, the post was mysteriously deleted, leaving no trace, as if someone wanted it gone. Quick-thinking users saved the image before it vanished. Digital imaging experts began analyzing it. No clear signs of manipulation were found. The figure, although surrounded by mist, cast a shadow consistent with the solar angle at that location and time. The coordinates led to a remote, uninhabited region, but with one strange anomaly. When you searched that exact spot on Google Earth, all you found was a blur. A smooth, white smudge with no depth or texture. The satellite image had been replaced, as if something was deliberately hidden. This kind of geographic censorship raises serious questions. Official sources claim low image quality is due to Antarctica's extreme weather. But these blurred zones always seem to appear in strategic areas. This isn't the first time it's happened. Multiple parts of the continent are simply missing from public maps. These geographic blackouts have fueled an old but persistent theory that parts of Antarctica are being used for secret operations, and the public must never see what's happening there. It's within this context that some began to link the image to something whispered about in fringe circles, the sleeping giants. Massive entities, allegedly trapped beneath the ice for millennia, either by ancient civilizations or by natural cataclysms meant to contain something beyond human understanding. Siberian legends, Mapuche myths, even obscure explorer journals mention giant humanoid forms buried in the ice, some in stasis, others fossilized, waiting. Some believe that geological shifts could eventually release them. Coincidentally, or perhaps not, commercial flights are forbidden from crossing certain Antarctic zones, even when those routes would be shorter. More concerning are reports of drones and military aircraft losing contact over these same regions. There are also documented cases of researchers vanishing in the field, their bodies never recovered. The official explanation? Storms, avalanches, hypothermia. But the frequency and pattern suggest something more: containment, monitoring, and possibly a biological or interdimensional threat under watch. The question that haunts those who saw the original image is simple and terrifying. What if that figure wasn't fake? What if someone accidentally captured the awakening of something that had been asleep for eons? Something that challenges our understanding of time, evolution, and control? Antarctica is Earth's final unclaimed mystery. And what if the ice is more than just a barrier? What if it's a seal holding back something that was never meant to rise again? In 1993, a military doctor named Joe was assigned to McMurdo Station in Antarctica, one of the largest U.S. scientific bases on the frozen continent. His mission was simple: provide medical care to scientists and military personnel in an isolated and extreme environment. However, over time, he began encountering a series of events that defied his understanding of reality. Soldiers with inexplicable injuries, secret diaries containing reports that seemed to describe encounters with indescribable creatures. All of this culminated in a piece of information he never imagined: the Striders. The first mention of the Striders came almost by accident. During one of his shifts, Joe overheard rumors among the rescue team about massive, invisible creatures hidden beneath the ice. According to reports, the Striders were giant beings with long limbs and surprising mobility, who had been frozen for millennia but were now being released. Upon investigating further, he found a strange inscription in a diary belonging to a high-ranking officer, describing a secret operation to contain them. McMurdo's connection to secret experiments and military involvement began to become increasingly evident. Reports of scientists mysteriously disappearing and others speaking, in hushed tones, about activities that could not be disclosed, suggested that something out of the ordinary was happening there. What initially appeared to be a scientific research base was becoming a prison for something much older and more dangerous. What if the Striders weren't just a legend? What if they were truly created by genetic experiments or, perhaps, an ancient civilization? Joe found himself in a moral dilemma. On one of his sleepless nights, he gained access to the base's confidential reports. They spoke of experiments with ancient DNA found in millennia-old ice blocks and creatures that were being kept frozen for a specific reason. Strangely, all records mentioning the Striders were redacted. Not just written over, but completely erased. Something was being kept hidden, something that could change everything we knew about biology and species behavior. A threat was lurking, but no one knew the truth. However, when Joe decided to leave the base and speak to someone outside the chain of command, he was confronted by a high-ranking officer. He was instructed to never mention the Striders again, and that if he spoke, his career and even his life would be at risk. For many, this was enough to stop any further investigation. For Joe, the silence and threats only confirmed his suspicions. McMurdo Station wasn't just investigating the past, it was trying to prevent something from being released. Something that was still hidden under layers of ice and snow, waiting to be uncovered. Over time, rumors about McMurdo and the secret operation intensified. Some people claimed that the Striders were closer than ever, while others believed they had been eradicated in a failed experiment. But the most intriguing part was the disappearance of Joe, who was never found after leaving the station. His medical and personal records vanished. His story was erased. Only an anonymous report about him remained, mentioning that Joe shouldn't have spoken. And even today, the question remains. If the Striders really exist, what is the government doing to contain them? And more importantly, what else is being kept secret beneath the layers of ice in Antarctica? In 2007, whispers began circulating about a strange creature spotted by Japanese sailors in the icy waters of the Antarctic Ocean. The creature was described as human-like in shape, yet its features were nothing like any known species. What made it even more unsettling was its size, an enormous figure said to reach up to 30 meters in length. This mysterious being was dubbed Ningen, a name derived from the Japanese word for human. But what was it? And why were there so many attempts to cover up its existence? The first sightings of Ningen came from a small group of Japanese sailors aboard a research vessel. According to reports, the creature was spotted during a night patrol, moving silently beneath the surface of the water. They described it as humanoid, with pale white skin, large, haunting eyes, and elongated limbs that seemed unnatural. What was even more disturbing was its ability to glide through the water with an unnatural grace, as if it were both an animal and something else entirely. The sailors tried to capture images, but every photo came out blurred, further fueling the mystery. As the reports grew, so did the speculation. The Japanese government began to censor any images related to the Ningen. It was rumored that high-ranking officials feared that the creature's discovery could lead to political and scientific fallout. Despite this, some sailors continued to share their experiences anonymously. They claimed that Ningen was more than just a creature. It was a sentinel, a guardian of the deep waters, a species whose existence was linked to ancient forces. But what exactly was being hidden? Was Ningen a product of nature, or was it the result of experiments gone wrong? Witnesses reported strange, almost hypnotic encounters with Ningen. Those who had seen it described feelings of dread, as if they were being watched by an intelligence far beyond their understanding. Some sailors even mentioned that they felt a strange pull, as if the creature was calling them into the depths of the ocean. Those who ventured too close to its territory were said to have suffered inexplicable accidents, with some even disappearing without a trace. Could this be a natural creature, or was there something far darker at play? What kind of government or organization would hide the existence of such a being from the world? One of the most shocking reports came from a classified document allegedly leaked by an anonymous source within the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. The document detailed a series of military operations aimed at tracking and studying the Ningen. It spoke of dark expeditions conducted in the Antarctic waters, with evidence of underwater structures and tunnels that appeared to belong to an unknown civilization. Was Ningen a part of something even greater? Perhaps it was guarding something ancient, something hidden beneath the ice, waiting to be discovered. Today, the Ningen remains one of the most enigmatic and widely debated mysteries of the Antarctic. Many dismiss the creature as a myth or misidentified marine animal. Others, however, believe it is a living relic of a civilization far older than anything humanity has discovered. As more and more reports emerge, the question remains: what does the Ningen truly represent? Is it simply a strange anomaly of nature, or is it part of a much larger and more sinister story that has yet to be fully uncovered? In the vast expanse of Antarctica, far from the eyes of the world, there are those who believe the continent is not as empty as it seems. Hidden beneath its icy surface, some theorize, lies a war being fought in the shadows, a silent battle between forces too secretive to be fully understood. These are not typical military conflicts. These are clandestine operations, carried out by special forces that leave no trace, and by powers that remain nameless. A war that remains unseen, yet it has potentially altered the course of history. The first whispers of this war came from military personnel who had served in Antarctica. They reported strange occurrences that they were not allowed to speak of publicly. Soldiers spoke of operations in areas that were off-limits, where they were told to forget what they had seen. Some reported encounters with unmarked military forces, highly trained soldiers who wore no insignia, who seemed to be operating in direct coordination with agencies that didn't officially exist. These shadowy figures moved like ghosts, disappearing without a trace once their mission was completed. What were they protecting? And what were they hiding? A key piece of this mystery lies in satellite images. For years, commercial satellite photography has been restricted in certain areas of Antarctica. Large chunks of the continent have been blacked out, with entire sectors covered in a digital fog. These are no ordinary military operations. These are operations that are deliberately concealed. Why would such a peaceful, desolate place be subject to such stringent censorship? What is so important that the world cannot see it? As if to add to the mystery, some military analysts believe that these covert operations may be linked to the discovery of something far more significant, something that was never meant to be found. In addition to the mystery of unmarked forces, there are reports of inexplicable deaths among researchers and soldiers stationed in Antarctica. Some deaths have been ruled as accidents, while others remain unsolved, with no clear cause. These deaths often occur under strange and unsettling circumstances. There are reports of men found frozen solid, their bodies seemingly untouched by the cold. In some cases, the bodies were discovered with strange markings, suggesting something other than nature might be at play. Could these deaths be the result of some secret weapon or biological agent? Or were they merely the consequences of an unknown force that has taken control of the frozen continent? Rumors of a containment operation have circulated, suggesting that a powerful, malevolent force is being controlled or contained deep within Antarctica's icy interior. Some believe it is a creature, an ancient entity or force that once ruled the planet and is now locked beneath the ice. Others suggest that it could be the result of secret military experiments gone wrong, or perhaps the discovery of a long-forgotten alien technology. What is clear is that, whatever is being hidden in Antarctica, it's being kept away from the eyes of the world for a reason. The true extent of the operation is unclear, but the silence surrounding it speaks volumes. With every passing year, more information leaks out, unverified, fragmented, and incomplete. The question, however, remains the same: what is really happening in Antarctica? Is there an ongoing war fought by powers unseen, or is it something even more sinister, a war of secrecy where the stakes are too high for the world to know? As more pieces of the puzzle fall into place, the silence only deepens, and the suspicion grows stronger that Antarctica holds secrets that could change everything we know about the world. In the dark, frozen waters beneath Antarctica lies a mystery that has been shrouded in secrecy and danger for decades. A creature so elusive and so dangerous that even the most experienced scientists have been left in awe and fear. Known only as Organism 46b, this entity has sparked intense speculation about what lurks beneath the icy depths of the continent. For years, rumors have circulated about its existence, But it wasn't until a series of bizarre and tragic events that the world began to understand just how real and terrifying it truly is. The first known encounter with organism 46b occurred in the mid-2000s when a group of Russian scientists was stationed at a research facility near Lake Vostok, one of the most isolated and inhospitable places on Earth. What began as a standard scientific expedition soon turned into a nightmare. The scientists reported strange occurrences before their deaths, with many claiming to have seen an enormous, tentacled creature beneath the ice, one that seemed to possess an intelligence far beyond anything they had ever encountered. Several researchers were found dead, their bodies mutilated in ways that suggested something far more sinister than just an animal attack. But the creature was no ordinary predator. It was a perfect predator, capable of blending into its environment with terrifying ease. Some survivors who managed to escape spoke of how the creature was able to attack without being seen, appearing from the depths without warning. Its long, serpentine tentacles could stretch to incredible lengths, capable of grabbing and pulling victims into the dark water with a force that left no chance of escape. But the most chilling detail of all was the intelligence that seemed to guide its movements. It wasn't just an animal, it was a being that seemed to understand the minds of its prey. Could this be an ancient species, evolved in the depths of Antarctica's frozen waters? Or could it be something more, something engineered by humans themselves? Adding to the mystery were the strange reports of disappearing scientists and missing equipment. Documents detailing the encounters with organism 46b were confiscated or erased, and the survivors were silenced. No records of the incidents were allowed to surface, and the true extent of the creature's danger remained classified. What were these scientists investigating that was so vital, and what did they stumble upon that forced them into a dangerous and irreversible confrontation with something beyond their understanding? Theories about human experimentation, bioengineering, and even extraterrestrial involvement began to emerge, but the truth remains buried beneath the frozen waters. The most unsettling part of the mystery is the implication that organism 46b may not be the only one of its kind. Researchers have speculated that other, similar creatures could be lurking in the depths of Antarctica's unexplored lakes, creatures that could be the result of experiments gone horribly wrong or, perhaps, even bioengineered for purposes unknown. Could this predator be part of a much larger, far-reaching program? And if so, why does the government and military remain so determined to keep it hidden? What are they protecting? And what does this creature represent in the larger scheme of global secrets? As unsettling as it is, the story of organism 46b offers a chilling glimpse into the depths of Antarctica's mysteries, a world so remote and inhospitable that the greatest secrets of our planet could lie hidden beneath its frozen surface, waiting to be discovered. But the real question remains: what else is out there in the cold, dark abyss of the continent's untouched waters? And what would happen if these creatures, if they exist, were ever released from their frozen prisons? Beneath the frozen expanse of Antarctica, hidden away from the world, lie secret laboratories conducting research that could change the course of human history. These underground facilities, shrouded in secrecy and protected by miles of ice and rock, are rumored to house some of the most advanced biological experiments ever undertaken. But what exactly are these experiments? And why has the world been kept in the dark about what's happening beneath the Antarctic ice? The answers to these questions could reveal the true nature of the horrors hidden in this desolate land. Theories about secret underground laboratories in Antarctica date back to the early 20th century, when rumors first began circulating about unusual military and scientific activity in the region. The most intriguing of these theories centers around the idea that governments, particularly those of the United States and Russia, have been conducting experiments related to biological engineering, manipulating genetic material to create new forms of life. According to some reports, the harsh conditions of Antarctica provide the perfect environment for such experiments, where they can be conducted away from the prying eyes of the world. But what exactly are they trying to create, and what are the implications of these experiments? Some claim that these striders, those massive and terrifying creatures reported in earlier accounts, could be the result of these experiments. These creatures, with their humanoid characteristics and frightening agility, might not be natural creatures at all. Instead, they could be the product of genetic manipulation, designed for specific purposes, perhaps as weapons or as part of a military project. The creation of such beings would not be unprecedented in the world of biological engineering, where scientists have long pushed the boundaries of what is possible in the pursuit of new technologies and warfare capabilities. But the ethical questions raised by such experiments are immense. If these creatures were engineered by humans, what responsibility do we have for their existence and their actions? The concept of genetic manipulation and bioengineering is not new, and some of the most controversial experiments in history have been carried out in secret laboratories hidden from the public eye. These facilities are said to be working with DNA from marine life, exploiting the unique genetic traits of creatures that have adapted to life in extreme conditions. The manipulation of such DNA could lead to the creation of entirely new species that could survive in the harshest environments on Earth, or perhaps even in environments off-world. These experiments, however, could come with unforeseen consequences, as nature's balance is disturbed by human intervention. If such creatures exist, what would be their role in the larger ecosystem, and could they pose a threat to humanity? There are also reports of highly classified genetic research aimed at enhancing human capabilities. Some suggest that the military is interested in using biological engineering to create super soldiers, humans modified to survive extreme conditions or to possess abilities beyond those of ordinary people. These experiments, if true, could explain the existence of creatures like the Striders, whose enhanced strength and intelligence would make them formidable opponents in any battle. The idea that such research is taking place in Antarctica, far from the public eye, raises disturbing questions about the lengths to which governments are willing to go in their pursuit of power and control. While these underground laboratories remain shrouded in secrecy, the implications of their research are vast. Could humanity be playing with forces beyond its understanding, creating beings that could one day escape their confinement? Are these creatures the result of reckless ambition, or are they part of a carefully planned experiment with far-reaching consequences? If so, what is the true purpose of the research being conducted in Antarctica? The answers remain hidden beneath the ice, but the unsettling possibility that we may one day have to confront the creatures and the experiments locked away there looms ever closer. As the mystery deepens, the question arises: what else lies buried beneath Antarctica's frozen surface? Are we witnessing the birth of a new era of biological warfare? And if so, how will the world react when these creations are finally unleashed? One thing is certain: the truth about what is happening in Antarctica may be far darker and more dangerous than anyone could have imagined. What is really hidden in Antarctica? The chilling silence that envelopes Antarctica is broken only by the howling winds and the crunch of ice underfoot. Yet, beneath this seemingly lifeless exterior lies a terrifying secret that has been concealed from the world for decades. For years, whispers have circulated about what might truly be buried beneath the thick layers of ice. But the question remains: if all of this is nothing more than a conspiracy, why the extreme level of secrecy? What are those in power so desperate to keep hidden from the public eye? The existence of creatures like the Striders, the monstrous entities reported by soldiers and researchers, points to a truth far more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. These creatures, possibly the product of biological engineering or an ancient species thought to be extinct, are just the beginning of a much larger mystery. What if the true purpose of the experiments in Antarctica was not just to study life, but to create life, new forms of life that could reshape the very fabric of existence on Earth? If these beings were indeed engineered, could they be a result of humanity's attempt to manipulate nature on a scale never seen before? As disturbing as this may sound, the idea that these creatures could be part of an intentional military project is not far-fetched. The icy plains of Antarctica, with their harsh conditions and remote location, have long been a haven for secret operations. From underground laboratories conducting forbidden genetic experiments to the deployment of shadowy military forces, the region has become a breeding ground for rumors of monstrous creations. But who is truly behind this experimentation, and what are they hoping to achieve? If these creatures are a result of humanity's meddling, could they one day escape and wreak havoc on the world? Many experts believe that the strange and unexplained phenomena occurring in Antarctica may not just be the result of nature's oddities but rather deliberate human interference. Some theorize that these creatures were designed as part of a global arms race to create weapons of unimaginable power. Others suggest that Antarctica is not merely a scientific research center, but rather a holding ground for these dangerous beings, something akin to a containment facility where experiments can be conducted away from the public eye. If the creatures are indeed real, they are far from being the only anomaly in the region. What else has been concealed beneath the ice? The secrecy surrounding Antarctica has only fueled speculation about what could be hidden there. Satellite images have been mysteriously obscured, and government agencies have gone to great lengths to prevent civilians from venturing too close to the southernmost continent. Why all this effort to keep people away? Is it because the creatures are too dangerous to be revealed to the world, or is there something even more sinister lurking in the frozen wastelands? And if the authorities are hiding the truth about what lies beneath the ice, what does that say about the lengths they will go to protect the world from discovering the dark reality that awaits? The truth, if it were ever uncovered, could shatter everything we know about the natural world. Could these creatures be just the beginning of a larger, more horrifying agenda? If humanity's scientific ambitions have truly reached the point where they are willing to create life that could potentially destroy us, what does that mean for the future of mankind? As the ice begins to melt and the truth threatens to rise to the surface, one must ask, what will happen when the secrets of Antarctica are finally revealed to the world? And now, after everything that has been revealed, what is really hidden beneath the ice of Antarctica? If this story of mysterious creatures, secret experiments, and invisible forces is true, why are governments and agencies hiding this information? Are we dealing with a threat of proportions we still don't fully understand? Or are we merely scratching the surface of something far more complex and dangerous than any theory could suggest? Are we uncovering a secret that should have never been revealed? Or perhaps the real question is, what truly happened in Antarctica, and what has been released from what was once frozen? What is lurking, waiting to be discovered? And you? Do you believe this is just another conspiracy theory? Or is there something much darker behind all of this? Something that could change the course of human history? If you want to continue exploring mysteries like this, like, share, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications so you won't miss any of the secrets we're uncovering. The truth is closer than you think, and it's waiting to be revealed.